Hi, this is Tanya from Flying Dog Studio. Thank you for joining me. In this video, I'm working on another one of my favorite princesses, Moana. As you can see, I'm starting out with some gesture drawing and I'm getting the eyes exactly where I want them to be. I always have tweaking that I'm doing on this, so you'll see a lot of erasing, a lot of changing position. I change position on the eyes and change the size and the direction that they are tilted by using the lasso tool, and then I resize them. At the end of this video, I will put up one of the videos where I explain how to do that in my tips and tricks for Procreate. When I'm doing the sketching, I like to use the Derwent pencil that's underneath the sketching brushes in Procreate. For the shading on this piece, I'm using hatching and cross hatching, and I'm still using the Derwent brush. I'm going to keep it consistent with my brushes on this. The only time you're going to see me change brush is when I get to the end and start putting the color on. Also underneath, you can see I have a watercolor texture. That's because the color I'm going to use at the end is going to be watercolor. And so I have that paper underneath. That's underneath all of my layers. It's underneath the sketching layer and underneath the drawing layer, and it will be underneath the watercolor layer as well. So now that I have Moana's face and eyes just the way I want them, I'm starting on the hair. Usually for this, I like to use cross hatching because that will get the areas like the one you're seeing here super dark. It will push it behind the shoulder, push it behind the face, but it will not give me the look I was really wanting on this. I wanted her to have flowing hair, and cross hatching just won't give you that. So I played around with it for a while, and I came up with this technique and decided to use the hatching, but allow the hatching to flow with the contour of her hair. Did this take a long time? Yes, it did. As a matter of fact, even though I have increased this video to the maximum speed, it's still an 8-minute long video. And most of the work was on this part right here, all on the hair. But it's worth it in the end. As I'm working on the shading at the top of her head, you'll see that I'm adding extra hairs. I like to add those in to keep the subject from having what I like to call helmet hair. You can get too solid on your hair. You don't want to stay within your drawing lines when you are shading in hair. You want to come outside. Put a few hairs outside of that to give it a little more believability. As you can see in this area, I'm putting some shading on and then I'm taking it off and I'm putting it back on again. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get the contour just right. I've been drawing for many years and I still like to go back and redo things. I'm always learning. And when you're working with digital art, it is always a learning experience. I love making fan art. For me, it is a wonderful, fun way to relax. I also like doing realistic portraiture. When I'm doing realistic portraiture, the hair process is completely different than the one you're seeing today. So if you haven't checked out some of my videos on that, take a look at the bottom of this video. I'm going to link some that show you my entire process for doing portrait art. I still use the same pencils. I love Derwent, I love the peppermint pencil, and I love watercolor. So you're going to see some of those techniques in those videos. In this area that I am also playing around with the hatching and cross hatching on the clothing, and I decided to use the same technique that I did in the hair and allow the hatching to move with the contour of the body. That is going to give me some good texture for the material, and it's going to allow the material to have more of the folds in it that we're looking for. We have finally made it to color. For this part of the watercolor, I'm using a brush by a guy named Matt. Now, I use this same brush in the Tiana videos, if you watched that one. And I'm going to link his brushes in the bottom here. You can find those on Gumroad. As we are coming to the end of our video, I want to say thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below.